name is Shamer Resco. I'm the Assistant Director of Enrollment Management for the School of Medicine. So thank you for joining us today. I'm going to turn it over to our Program Director and Education Program Director to handle the webinar today, but thank you all for joining us.
All right, perfect. Thanks, Shay, for the introduction, and thanks to those of you who are joining us, both those of you here live, as well as those of you who are going to be watching the recording. I know I got a few emails from folks that couldn't quite make it at this time, and so we'll be sending out the recording to everyone that's registered as well. So I'm going to be talking about our brand new Masters of Science programs in Computational Genomic Medicine here at Case Western Reserve University School of Medicine. Just a quick advancing here. Quick overview of what I'm going to be talking about, but the entire webinar should take maybe 15-20 minutes, and then I wanted to leave plenty of time for questions if anybody had any. And if you do have questions, you're more than welcome to pop them into the chat. I can see them as we're going along, or wait to the end and you can hear them. So quickly, I'll be talking, just giving a brief introduction to who I am, as well as the administrative context. Susie Brannon. We'll talk a little bit about Case Western Reserve University, an overview of the program, different career opportunities, for those of you who would be graduating from the program, a little bit about Cleveland and why it's a great place to live and work. And then we'll go through in detail the application process and have time to take any questions from anyone. So again, my name is David Buckner. I'm an associate professor here in the Department of Genetics and Genome Sciences at Case Western Reserve University. I've been at Case as a faculty for probably about 12 years now. My own lab works on type 2 diabetes research, obesity research, trying to identify novel genes that are important for adipocyte biology, as well as studying sort of gene-gene interactions and epistasis and how that regulates genetic susceptibility to metabolic disease. Susie Brannon is the education program manager here, she's the administrative contact of the program. And you can see our email there is at the bottom of the screen, so it's genems@case.edu. So the easiest thing is probably, if you have any questions, just drop an email to there, genems@case.edu. That goes to both my email as well as Susie's email. So if you're not sure who to contact or anything like that, feel free to send an email there, and that's the easiest way to probably get a hold of us. A little bit about Case Western Reserve University. It's located in University Circle, Cleveland, Ohio. I'll be talking a little bit more about University Circle later when I talk about Cleveland and its highlights. There's just over 5,000 undergraduates at Case, a little bit over 6,000 graduate students at Case. So it is a little bit unique relative to most places that there's actually more graduate students than there are undergraduates. And I think this just sort of highlights that graduate education, things like this master's program, are really central to the teaching and training mission of the university here. There's just over 6,000 faculty and staff at the university. We have students from all 50 states, from over 90 different countries. There's alumni all over the world. And we have a large operating budget, over $1 billion a year, and research revenues of over $400 million annually. So it's a good sized university with lots of opportunities to do different types of research and learning. This is just sort of the rankings sort of at a glance, keeping in mind that no ranking system is perfect and they should all be taken with a bit of a grain of salt. But we're pretty proud of our rankings, so we want to show them off anyway a little bit. So these are just some of the sort of more commonly used ranking systems to give you an idea of sort of where we rank nationally, internationally, and even in Ohio, where we're generally ranked #1 for in the biomedical sciences. So looking at the sort of the Leiden scale, which takes into account publications, patent applications, research reputation, different kind of things like that, we're actually ranked #8 in the entire United States for biomedical and health sciences. And using the same Leiden scale, we're ranked #22 internationally, so in the entire world for biomedical and health sciences. For NIH funding, according to Blue Ridge, we're ranked #26 among United States medical schools. And actually, we're talking about the computational genomics program here. So for genetics funding, it's actually a little bit higher. We're ranked #16 in the country. And we're ranked 30 for US universities that were granted utility patents. and US News and World Report rankings, which is kind of one of the most commonly used ranking systems that people like to look at. They no longer rank schools 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. They put them in different tiers. And so tier 1 is the highest possible ranking. And we're a tier 1 medical school, indicating that we're among the top 15% of all medical schools in the country. So what is computational genomic medicine? So we're defining it as integrating genomic bioinformatics and data sciences to analyze large-scale genetic and clinical data to advance precision medicine, diagnostics, and personalized treatments. So that's a mouthful, but generally summarizes what we think of as computational genomics in this program. And below are just a few figures that I took from different faculty that are involved in the program to sort of highlight the types of things that you might be doing as a researcher as part of this program. So on the left there is a figure from Yan Lee's lab. Her lab works on diabetes and development of beta cells in the pancreas. And that's showing some spatial transcriptomic data that her lab has produced looking at the development of beta cells in pancreas and in certain genetic conditions and what genes are important in regulating those that development. In the center is data from Tom Leframboise's lab. His lab looks at acquired and genetic and somatic mutations and how they affect risk of cancer, usually blood cancers. And in this figure, he's focusing on mitochondrial mutations and just the frequency of different mutations and how they affect disease risk. And over on the right is data from Fulai Jin's lab, where he's really pioneered a really interesting way of looking genome-wide at chromatin-chromatin interactions, or things called loops, and how these regulate gene expression in different cell types and different tissue types, and how those loops are altered in his lab focuses on both cancer and diabetes risk, and whether we can use those to improve diagnostics or improve treatments of those disorders. So the question is sort of, why are we starting this program and why are we starting this program now? Again, I mentioned it's sort of a brand new program here at Case. What we wanted to do, the program was really designed to address, it says here, the growing gap between the rapid accumulation of genomics data and the number of researchers and clinicians' ability to exploit these data to try and improve human health. So the problem is there are huge amounts of genetic and genomic data available now, and there are just not enough people that can analyze this data, either in academic settings, clinical settings, industry settings, that have that sort of expertise to analyze the data, to be able to maximize the use of this data to improve our understanding, of human development and growth, as well as to improve human health in terms of generating new treatments and therapeutic options. And so that's why we sort of started this program, is to train scientists, hopefully such as yourself, to be able to analyze this huge amount of data. And this is only as the costs of this type of generating this type of data continues to go down and down and down. We think for the foreseeable future, there's going to be a great need for people to do this kind of research. So what are you going to learn in the program here, the program in computational genomic medicine? We sort of went through some of the bullet points on the left to highlight the types of things that we'll be covering in this program. Be acquiring core scientific knowledge in medical genetics and biostatistics. You will gain expertise in advanced computational genetics and genomics techniques. The third bullet point, maybe this one's the most important bullet point, is developing critical thinking and analysis skills. As we all understand that AI is taking a larger and larger role in terms of computational programming. It's really going to be the people who can learn how to use these sort of AI technologies, how to design experiments, how to help point it in the right direction, to analyze the right kind of data and ask the right kind of questions that I think are going to be the leaders in the future going forward. We also have the opportunity to participate in activities to improve oral and written communication skills. You'll participate directly in hands-on clinically focused computational research project and get the chance to participate in various professional development activities. So who is the program for? We generally designed it for people with a background in either computer science or a related field, things like data science, bioinformatics, or with a background in genetics or a related field. So biology, biochemistry, molecular biology, different things like that. Importantly, there are no prerequisite class requirements because we understand people are going to be coming in from different backgrounds. Some will come with computer science backgrounds, some will come with genetics backgrounds, and that's okay. Whichever background you come in, we will be able to teach you the coding and the genetics and the genomics, regardless of your background. And so there's no prerequisite class requirements. Upon graduation, we really think there'll be a lot of different career opportunities in biotech, pharma, academics, clinical research, and whether that is called a bioinformatician, clinical genomics analysis, genomic software developer, data science. There's a lot of different job titles. All of them, according to the US Bureau of Labor Statistics, are among the fastest growing occupations in the United States. So we really think there will be a lot of good job opportunities for people graduating this program. The other possibility is for folks looking to strengthen applications. Maybe you wanted to pursue a PhD program, an MD program. Maybe you want to go into patent law or something like that and want some sort of expertise in the sciences first before you do that. And so this is a program which can really help strengthen your application because you're going to develop an expertise in really a cutting edge and growing field and gain hands-on, valuable hands-on research experience that a lot of these programs look for as well. So the big overview of the program, it's a 2-year program. Year 1 is mostly focused on coursework. Year 2 is mostly focused on research. And we'll get into the details in a little bit. So in year 1, you're going to be doing coursework studying quantitative genetics, computational genomics, advanced medical genetics, as well as some individual literature-based studies with a chosen faculty member as part of our program. And then year 2 is really focused on research. You'll have cutting-edge research opportunities to hone your skills, working directly with our faculty on projects related to diabetes, cancer, neurogenetics, cystic fibrosis, gene therapy, and many, many other opportunities. And importantly, there's opportunities at a number of different locations. So you'll be able to work either at Case Western Reserve University School of Medicine, where I'm based, also university hospitals and the Center for Human Genetics, there's research opportunities, as well as at Cleveland Clinic and their Genomics Institute. There'll be research opportunities there as well. As I mentioned, there really is a broad, sort of diverse number of research opportunities depending on what your research interests are and which faculty you decide to work with. The largest number of opportunities are probably in cancer genetic and genomics. We have a really outstanding cancer center here at Case Western Reserve, and there are going to be a lot of research opportunities based there. But there's also expertise and people working on neurogenetics, obesity and diabetes cells, neuroscience, glial cell development, CRISPR. We have an outstanding cystic fibrosis research center here, so there are a lot of opportunities there. People working on autism, people working on basic science opportunities, things like nuclear organization and genome architecture and different things like that, using iPSC cells and base editing. And so there's whatever you want to work on. There are likely people here that are doing that type of research. There's 3 different tracks to the program. And all of them take a little bit different amounts of time. So number 1, we're calling it the standard track. This is going to take 2 years. And I'm going to go through that track in detail. We have another opportunity, which is our accelerated track. So you can get done in just 18 months, a year and a half. And then there's also a part-time option for those of you who are working or want to take it a little bit slowly. We've sort of mapped it out where you can do it in about 3 years. But that's really flexible and can be adjusted to work with your own schedule. So this is the standard track, the one that takes 2 years. This is a list of the courses that you'll be taking during that time. In the fall of your first semester, there's a Gene 520 class, which is a 4-credit class on computational human genomics and epigenetics. And this is really the sort of core introductory class, which is going to be introducing you to a lot of the specialized techniques in computational genomics. There's also a class in advanced medical genetics, as well as the opportunity to take an elective. I'll talk a little bit about what electives are available in a minute. In the spring, there's a literature-based discussion class, which focuses on current topics in genetics and genomics. There's a journal club where you get to learn about different research papers, as well as the opportunity to present a paper as well. And then there's a reading and discussions class in genetics. So this is the 1-credit class where you'll be working directly with the faculty member of your choice to go over and really sort of develop expertise in a given area based on what you've sort of learned in your Gene 520 class, to go in further depth into one of the topics covered in that class and discuss this directly with a faculty member. The idea is that this is going to be setting up the chance for you doing to research in the second year, where you'll really get to know one of the faculty members one-on-one and see whether that would be a good fit for you doing research in the second year. And then finally, there's a course on being a professional scientist, and this is a lot of the ethical issues associated with being a biomedical scientist and a computational genomics researcher. The second year is, again, mostly focused on research. The fall semester, there's a quantitative genetics class, and then Gene 601, this is the research class. This is where you'll be in the lab, directly doing hands-on research, working with other students, working directly with another faculty member in one of the chosen fields that you want to develop more expertise on. And then there's also an elective class as well. In the spring, it's only research. So you'll have all of your time available to work directly and get a lot of good hands-on experience in the lab and really develop expertise. The one difference between the standard track and the accelerated track, the standard, again, is 2 years. The accelerated track can be done in 1.5 years. So in the accelerated track, we basically take this spring semester of research and we would move it up to the previous summer. So instead of having your summer open, you can take this class, get it done over the summer, and then you'll be done in 1.5 years. So it's relatively straightforward to switch to the accelerated track and get done a semester early. The part-time course, that track is basically taking the first 2 years and sort of splitting them in half. So you do about a half course load the first year and a half course load the second year, and then your third year is available for just doing research. These are some of the elective courses that we offer. There are courses in statistical methods, there's intro to data structure and algorithms, there's some genetic epidemiology courses, some cancer genetic courses, but there's really a lot of other courses available, too many to list here. So it could be courses in AI or computer science or other disease-focused courses, things like that. It really depends on what your research interests are, and we try and be flexible to work with you to really build the program around what your specific interests are. So why Cleveland? I mentioned before that Case Western Reserve within University Circle. It's a really beautiful area full of different museums. We have the Botanical Gardens is walking distance. The Cleveland Art Museum is walking distance. It's a great art museum. It has I think the largest acquisition budget of any museum outside of New York and Los Angeles. The Natural History Museum is walking distance here in University Circle. It was just recently redone. It's beautiful. It was named one of the most beautiful museums in the country. The Museum of Modern Art is here as well. The Cleveland Orchestra is here. It's one of the big 5 Cleveland orchestras in the United States. So they're really well known. They're great too. There are professional sports teams here. We have, the Browns, the Guardians, the Cavs. We have other minor league sports teams as well. Outstanding restaurants throughout the city. We're right on a lake. And so, in the summer, there's beaches and water sports activities. There's great hiking in our sort of metro park system. And people don't always know about it. So there's actually not that much traffic here, and it's a relatively inexpensive place to live. The cost of living is great. So even as a graduate student, it's not a big deal. You can afford an apartment. You can afford to take advantage of some of these great opportunities that are here. Other things, the Rock and Roll Hall of Fame is here. There's a great theater district. Actually, the biggest contiguous theater district outside of New York is here in Cleveland, Ohio. And there's lots of great neighborhoods to live in. There are places you can live in near campus, so you don't necessarily need a car to go here. There are places that you can get to with public transportation, the RTA system here, places like Shaker Square or downtown, which are easy to get to campus. And then if you have a car, again, it's easier. There's lots of great neighborhoods to live and work into. So this is sort of the nuts and bolts of the application process here. The first thing to do is to log on to applygrad.case.edu/apply, create an account, and you can start uploading the different documents that you'll need. You'll need a statement of purpose. So this doesn't have to be long. It can be sort of 1 page max, and just gives you a chance to tell us, why you're interested in the program, why you want to study computational genomics. You'll upload your resume or your CV. Upload transcripts. These can be unofficial transcripts at this point, is all we need. We're asking for 3 letters of recommendation. These are generally going to be from your professors or your supervisors if you're working and things like that. And then for international students, we need a TOEFL score as well. I'll point out the one thing not listed here is GREs. these are truly optional. It will not hurt you if you do not include GREs with your application. So if you haven't taken the GRE, that's no problem, or the score wasn't great, also no problem at all. It really, we do not take it, it does not negatively impact your application if you do not include GRE scores. But if you did great on your GRE scores, feel free to include those as well. After the application is in and is reviewed, if we think you'll be a good fit for the program, we'll set it up so you have around 2 or 3 interviews with different faculty members, which gives us a chance to get to know you better, gives you a chance to get to know us better, and then we'll make the admissions decisions. As for timelines, we have 2 different admissions deadlines. So the first is a priority deadline. This is coming up on January 1st. And the real advantage to this application deadline is that we will give you an answer by March 1st so that you can know that you'll be accepted to the program and start planning accordingly. There's a second deadline in July 15th. We know the classes case start towards the end of August. So we'll really work hard to rush and get you a decision by August 5th so that you have time to make plans. In terms of are you more likely to get accepted with either one of these deadlines, it doesn't make any difference. It's really just up to you which timing sort of fits your schedule better. And then with that, again, this is our contact information. If you have any questions about the program, you can email at genems@case.edu, and that will come to me as well as Susie Brannon. We have our website listed here, genetics.case.edu/genems. You can find out more about the program. There's also a link from our website to the application as well, if anyone is interested. And with that, I would be happy to open it up to questions. And so you're welcome to either put them in the chat, or I'm not sure if you'll be able to sort of unmute yourself and ask away. All right, well, I'm not seeing any questions coming up in the chat, or any hands raised or anything like that. So in that case, I'll just take the opportunity again to thank everyone for coming to the webinar. And again, feel free to follow out, send an email and we'd be happy to follow up and happy to answer any other questions that you may have about the program. Oh, I do see one question. Okay, perfect. If you do not have a computer science background, do you recommend getting experience? That's a great question. I would say no. I mean, really part of the program is that we're going to teach you everything that you need to learn. And so I think it's perfectly fine to come into the program with sort of no coding experience, and we will get you up to speed. Part of it is through the classwork. You'll be learning different coding algorithms, how to use some of the different software programs, different things like that. And then, of course, working in the lab, you'll have direct hands-on experience where you'll be able to really develop the expertise that you need in coding. Another question here. It says the opposite question. So if you come from mainly a computer science background, how is the coursework year structured for learning about genetics? Yeah, also another good question. So I can kind of go back to the coursework. Every course has genetics and genomics as sort of a fundamental part of that class. And so the computational human genomics program is learning different algorithms, different computational ways to do it, but it's all specifically directed at a human genetics and epigenetics research problems. So it's learning things like gene expression analysis and learning things like how to analyze ChIP-seq data and learning different excuse me, different sort of coding algorithms for handling, large human genomic data sets and different things like that. So it's really fundamental to all of the courses. The Gene 500, the current topics in genetics and genomics, is really a broad overview, getting into the details of a lot of the sort of hot current topics, in genetics and genomics, and also reviewing some of the sort of classical papers in the literature and different things like that to give sort of a really strong background on sort of classic discoveries in genetics, as well as, what's the latest in the research and different things like that. And then the readings and discussions in genetics, that can be, the Gene 503 class can be specifically tailored to each student, because that's working directly one-on-one with a faculty member. So anything that you would like to sort of gain specific experience in, you can sort of use that class to tailor the education directly to what you're interested in learning, and whether that can be sort of more geared towards computer science or more geared towards genetics and genomics, just depending on your background and what you'd like to sort of catch up and learn, is directly built into the program. So. Were there other questions, or I'll give it a minute? All right, so then if there are no more questions, as I was saying, thanks again for attending, and definitely feel free to reach out to me anytime. If you do additional questions come up, if you are interested in applying and want to ask questions about the application process, definitely feel free to send an email, and I'll be happy to answer them. And thanks for taking the time to come to the webinar, and have a good day.